Hello and welcome back to the Fempowered Property Podcast. Today I am joined with my life partner and business partner, Darren Andrews. Hello, Darren.
Hi guys, how are we all doing?
Could you take some time to just introduce yourself briefly, just give everyone a background of kind of your upbringing and then also like where you've got to from there and then the journey in between?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like Ella said, my name's Darren Andrews. I'm a property developer and the other half of Della Estates. I started property actually when I was 20. I'm 37 now, so I done my first flip when I was 20 and then done another one immediately after. Then met Ella and we went traveling and enjoyed the world for a while.
We did.
Yeah, and then after that set up a dealership, or in between that time anyway, set up a sports car dealership. Built that up from the ground up. We actually done that from the driveway, didn't we?
Yeah, so like it wasn't a sports car dealership
It was
initially.
definitely not a sports car dealership. It was like a Ford Fiesta and Vauxhall Corsa
Yeah.
to start off with. But yeah, then we built that up over the next probably 7 years, I'd say.
Yeah, it probably was. But like initially we were just getting enough money up together to go traveling, weren't we?
It was always make a chunk of money,
Yeah.
go and spend it somehow, make a bit more, go and spend that somehow.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we done the dealership, sold that, and then basically just said, let's go full-time in property. My background way before that, from like when I finished school, I was actually a plumbing and a heating engineer. So I had a bit of a background within construction and stuff. I worked on countless projects for other property developers. And yeah, they were always like turning up to site in, Range Rovers and stuff like that. And I was always there working away on 25 grand a year or whatever it was, thinking, that needs to be me. I'm on the wrong side of the fence here. So yeah, then me and Ella jumped into property development pretty much full time when we sold the dealership.
Yeah,
And
a little bit before that actually. We were
Yeah.
doing it alongside initially.
We were actually, yeah, we were working quite a lot then, weren't we? Well,
Yeah.
we do now, but
And I had my equine physio business as well.
and we had a child.
Yeah, how did we fit it all in?
Now I think about it that way, I don't know. But yeah, that's my background anyway. So yeah, I've always had a massive passion for property and always wanted to sort of better myself each time, each project, and each and every year just try and beat myself in the year before.
Yeah, and I think just going back to like what you were saying about the guys turning up in the Range Rovers and you working for them on the tools, like that kind of just goes to show that you always had those big visions and you always knew that you were gonna go somewhere, and that it just doesn't stop with that job that you were doing right there and then, i.e. contracting for or doing plumbing contracting, so I think that's that entrepreneurial, oh god, I can't talk today, entrepreneurial spirit, isn't it, that you like embody all the time. You're always coming out with new ideas and like the journey never ends, does it?
No, hence why it's a journey. It's not a destination. Yeah, I'm always looking ahead, always looking forward. And I kind of think I've been, like, people say to me, oh, Darren, you're an entrepreneur, help me with this, have a look at this. And I often think, am I an entrepreneur? That's just a word that's been made up for businessman. I think I'm just a businessman and you're a businesswoman. But they say entrepreneur, so fine. But essentially, in that case, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I've been telling you this story. I'd write leaflets out, get your car washed for £5, or I cut your grass for £5, and I go and put all these leaflets for everyone's door in the village that I grew up in. So right from an early age, I've always been looking forward. And I actually heard a really good thing on a podcast about Vanilla Ice, of all people. And the interviewer basically said to him, when you sort of have a bit of downtime and chill, what are you thinking to do next? And he literally responded, I'm thinking what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of my mindset. Like I said to you when we were around the pool, I'm not just led there just switching off. I'm just thinking, what can I do with that? What about this project? What about that investment? So yeah, I think that's just kind of the mindset you get yourself in. And I've obviously noticed you do that over the last 10 years massively as well. And I think now we just always want to better ourselves and even help other people out as well.
Yeah, it gets
and grow and just grow.
100%. And I think like you have been a natural entrepreneur, whereas my journey was very different. I was very much like on the corporate ladder and just thinking that I always had to do that. And I did my accountancy exams and I was like, I only really did that job just so that I could get more money to have a horse. Like that was literally my mindset at the time, but I didn't know any different. And I think when I met you, like it did open my eyes up to so much more, and that's why I retrained to do the vet physio stuff. But you know, loved it, and it was a passion, but it's still just a job. And I think that was where it was with you in the car business as well, wasn't it? Like you had scaled it so much, but there was only one of you, and it was kind of time to let that baby go and then jump into property because there was so much potential there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've always been buying and selling something. I nearly got expelled from the school for selling multi-pack cans of Coke when my school banned like Coke and chocolate bars and stuff like that. I'd go down to Lidl's on my lunch break, buy a multi-pack can of Coke, 12 of them or whatever for, I don't know, £6 and sell them all for £2.
Yeah.
And then after that, I moved, when I was a plumbing heating engineer, I was selling boilers, and I'd install your boiler and I'd sell you a boiler. And then I'd buy and sell cars, and then I'd buy and sell houses. But I think you're right, like you said about you go to work and then your money so you can buy your horse. But that was your destination, and where your mindset was then, your mindset was at the point, I've got a sat nav, and you put your destination in the sat nav and it will take you there. So you put in your sat nav, I want a horse. So it took you there.
Yeah.
But I think if there's no clear destination, then that opens up a big array of things to do. But that said, you also need a destination if you want to actually get somewhere and create clear goals and make that happen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a fine balance, but I think you're wired that way or you're not. If you're not, then get some training and some work on your mindset and reprogram yourself. Just take that chip out and put a new chip in, which I think a lot of people think, no, I can't do that. I'm a plumber forever, and that's it. Absolutely. I mean, we know people that are 55 years old, they've just quit doing what they're doing and they go and do whatever project they want to do and succeed and do it because they want it. They don't need it. They actually want it. And I think that's a big difference as well.
100%. It can definitely be skills that can be learned. Like I'm a true example of that. We are so different in that sense. And like once you do start on a journey of personal development, whether that's in property or other business, like it really does make you move as a person. Like you can't not work on yourself if you want to have a successful business.
You can't stand still.
No, absolutely not. And that destination that you're reaching to, like that's always going to move. Like our goal was to be here in Mallorca. We're actually sat on our terrace right now, overlooking beautiful trees, mountains. We've got a pool in the garden. Like it's sunny. This was our vision. This was our dream, and we've achieved it.
Years ago as well, like 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now it's like, it's not about like not appreciating where you are, because I think that's so important as well, to actually embody and be grateful for what you have, because then it does there is a trajectory there to the next level, to where you want to get to. But it's also like, actually, now that we're here, like we ain't stopping, we're just getting started, aren't we?
We said that the other day, didn't we? Like this isn't the end goal. Like to be here in this villa, like I had a villa saved on my computer, didn't I? Like the background. A really similar villa to this one, like 5 years ago, and we were like, come on, this is it. We were manifesting that for years. But I think when we first got here, I kind of was like, yeah, that's cool, I'm done now. We've got regular money coming in from property and other investments and so on. I can just chill here and that's me done. But actually, like I said to you the other day, and you definitely agreed, I think this is just the start for us.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think once you get that mindset, like, I don't know, like an actor or a billionaire investor or whatever it may be, they're just human beings. They're just a bag of bones and organs. They're the same as me and you. We're all the same. So yeah, I think mindset's been the massive sort of shift and key for me. And I definitely think it's helped you over the years as well.
100%. So how would you say it's been working together as a partnership within our property business?
Guys, don't do it. It's an absolute hell.
And that's what I wanted to talk about, because there's a lot of women that will come to me and they want to either do it on their own, but there's also that other group of women that want to do this to help their families or to work with their partner in this industry. So like from your perspective, how's it been working together?
I don't think we would be where we are without each other. Yeah, so I think to have some element of support at home and in an environment where you spend a lot of time with someone like your partner. I mean, everyone can have a PA and members of staff and so on, project managers, whatever it may be, but to have your partner in your corner doing what you do, and you're both living it all day and breathing it all day, that's just amazing. And I would advise anybody to do that. Yeah, excuse me, of course there's been tough times, and there will be, but I think you can overcome them quite quickly. So as an example, what's that program that you watch, Selling Sunset?
Yeah.
So you see
It's my
something.
guilty pleasure. Sorry, guys.
I quite enjoy it too. It's got nice houses in LA, so I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll watch it. But you see, like, some of the girls, and they're really close, but they argue, and their friendship's destroyed,
Yeah.
and then they don't move on from that. But if it's your partner, you move on a bit quicker. One of you's going to say, or one of you needs to learn to say, okay, cool, what should we do about this? And what do we jokingly say? Do you want a hug? No, do you want comfort, or do you want a resolution?
Yeah.
It's like the two things you can just say to your partner to get over things. So yeah, working with you has definitely been amazing. I'm with you because I love you and want to be with you. And now I get to work with you and earn loads of money and do great projects and stuff. It's just been great. And you can bounce off each other. So I might have certain skills that you don't have, and vice versa. I can't even get a wireless printer to work. Generally, I can't.
It's true.
I'm not even joking. But to find a project and build a house and see the vision for that, I really excel.
Yeah.
So we both bring many different things to the table. And I think, you know, you guys at home could look at your partner and think, well, what would he do, or what would she do? You'd be surprised when you get into it how much you can bounce off each other and really grow. Then you can grow as a couple. Bring your partner up with you. You know, don't try to grow on your own and leave them behind. Use them to help you, but also they're going to use you to help themselves, and then you can really both grow.
Yeah, 100%. There's that book, isn't there, called Rocket Fuel? And there's like the two sides of having a successful business. And I think it's called a visionary and an integrator. And I'd say you are the visionary of the group and I'm the integrator, because you've got all the big ideas, and I have a lot of ideas in my coaching business because I'm kind of the two sides of it there. But in our property business, it's like, you will go out and get the ideas, and I'm like, okay, let's, like, how do we make this happen? How do the numbers look like? And I'm more of the logical, like, sense of the two,
I'd agree with that,
without offending you. But like, I think it's good to have that balance of, and not just one side of each, because otherwise it can be really tipped one way.
Exactly. And also, when you think about it, because we've been working together, you know, all day every day for 5 years now, could you go and do your own project how you want to do it and use the resources to do it all on your own?
Yeah, absolutely.
Comfortably, couldn't you? And so could I now. So I've taken things from you and you've taken things from me. Not taken, but we've handed things over, and skill sets that we now both see every day. It's all right talking to someone, you know, for an hour and getting some ideas and stuff. When you're with that person, you learn from them as well.
100%. So like the people that are going out and doing this on their own, I think it's being conscious that if you do have a gap in your skill set, then that's an opportunity to go out and find where that might be. Identify it, either work with somebody who complements you, or just be aware of it and know that actually, if that's something that is a gap right now, then that's an opportunity to lean into it and work on it and get some mentoring on it, get some support.
Do a JV partnership.
Do a JV, you know, because having that awareness is going to really help with projecting you forward. Otherwise, it can be quite easy to fall into what is comfortable to you. And then on the flip side, like for me, I think as a woman, a lot of the time as well, women are more programmed to be less risky. So they're more risk averse. But I actually think that means that we are more discerning investors, and we're not just people that jump into stuff without analysing it. So, but like that on its own, that could actually just ring fence you completely straight away, couldn't it? Like, because then you wouldn't want to take that action. So it's about, well, actually, where are those gaps here, and what is coming back at me? What is my subconscious saying, and where do I need to work on that? Because having that awareness is just going to be key to pushing you forward, isn't it? Oh,
most definitely. And I really think, just touching on that as well, people try to do everything on their own, and they try to do too much. And you're a testament to this. That was me. It was, I wanted to literally micromanage. I had a dealership and I'd be watching the cleaner clean the car. Like, you just missed a bit there. And it's like, go and sell the car and make $5,000. Don't do that task. But you look at people like, I don't know, Tony Robbins, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, whatever it may be. They're the driving force. They're the people that are out there doing it, but look at the team behind them that they've built up over the years and the contacts and relationships that they've built. So you don't need to do everything on your own. You can be A, but then there can be B, C, D, you know, behind you and after you, helping along the way.
Yeah.
So for me, a big thing is to stop micromanaging, outsource. I'm just about to get myself a PA, a personal PA for me. And yeah, sort of let go of all the smaller, what do you call them, lower value tasks?
Lower value tasks, yeah.
Which I used to do all the time, didn't I?
Yeah.
So you've definitely taught me that, and sort of give them over, push them to the side and get someone else to do them. Then I, or whoever's listening, can concentrate on that one thing.
Yeah, the high
focus
value,
on that.
the stuff that's going to actually bring in income, like the income generating tasks. That's what a CEO of a business should be doing, not all of the low value stuff. And that's why I bang on about outsourcing so much. And I think that comes back to my human design a little bit as well, because I'm a projector. Like, I can see above situations, so I know when there's an opportunity to outsource things, because you can't grow if you are just doing it yourself. You are going to lead yourself down that road of burnout. There's no two ways about it. And I think you reached this point in the dealership at one point as well, didn't you?
I think I hit a wall, and I think everyone does at some point. And you need people, you need a team, you need to offload some of the smaller tasks so you can focus on the bigger ones. And but yeah, that's one thing that you've actually taught me. I don't know where you got that from in your background, but that's massively helped me grow. And even things aside from what we're doing with the property and stuff, which we'll always do and absolutely love, and it's, you know, profitable and great and enjoyable. But even other projects, I know I need to get other people involved. And I've got a website being built myself, as normally I'd ask you in to help me look at this and how can I do that. No, just pay the professional to do that, what they're good at and what they do.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think like any business, so, well, even just like your car dealership, you've learned a lot from that business that's transferred into property. And then this property business working with me has then you've translated those skills into the new ventures that you're now heading into as well. So it's all like transferable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, just business in general can give you so much more options to the next path in your life, whatever that's going to be. So
and being liquid as well.
Yeah.
Really be liquid and fluid, whatever the saying is, so you can
you
move around things and change things as you go. And
definitely
people get stuck on one thing and just stick to that. Like our strategies, we've done pretty much I think we've actually done every single property strategy several times over, and we know what we like and we know what we don't like. So you can be quite fluid and liquid in life. Like I said about that 55-year-old guy that decided to become a home builder, you know, and do these things. But yeah, just get the team behind you, definitely.
And actually just tapping into that a little bit more, like we've just recently had a bit of a hard conversation about one side of our business, haven't we, about the rent-to-rent side of things?
We have,
So like that's a conversation which actually can be quite hard, because if it's making money and it's profitable, but you know it's not in the direction of where you want to get to, sometimes you have to let things go, even if they are going well, which doesn't make sense when you think about it on a conscious level. But actually, like, we know where we're going. We've looked at the history of like our business and what makes us the true returns that we are looking for into our next level selves, I guess, and our next journey. So like, if you're putting your energy into too many things in one time, then you can't push yourself forward in the things that you want to do more. So it makes sense sometimes to reanalyze and change. There's nothing wrong with your changing your mind along this journey, like you said, fluidity, to make sure that you are capturing that energy and pushing it into the direction that you want it to go. Where focus goes, energy flows, right? So it's just a testament to that. So just bringing it back to property a little bit more then, what was your favorite project that we've done together?
Favorite project? What are we on, our 15th project, although we've done like rent to rents and various bits in the middle. Favorite project, 100% the refurb of Charlton Road.
Do you think so?
For me,
that was like a passion project.
That was kind of like a passion project, but also it was a great earner.
Oh yeah,
so,
massively.
I mean, I go to work to earn money, and you know, I loved earning the money, but I also really thoroughly enjoyed that project. I think for me to take an old derelict building and create something amazing is kind of like me as a human being in a way. So I look back at my 17-year-old self and the trouble I used to get in and the things I used to get up to and the crowd I used to hang around, and I was broken, to say the least, and then build myself back up to the man that my daughter will look at and be proud of, hopefully. She'll say, I'm proud of my dad. That's my end goal. And I think Charlton Road for me was like that.
Yeah.
It was, I'm taking this old wreck of a house that's dead. Nobody wants it. Everyone calls it ugly. It's disgusting. What an eyesore. And now we created the best house on that street. We broke the ceiling price on the street as well, which we've done like 5 times now.
Yeah.
And just to really create something and put a personal touch on it and do things how we want to do it. And we've always said this, we sit in the kitchen or the living room at the very end of the project and we look at each other and we go, would you live? Are you happy? And if we say yes, definitely, then it's done and we can move on to the next one. If it's not, then we tweak things.
Yeah.
So for me, that was probably my favorite project. I project managed that one myself. I was hands-on myself. I'm not hands-on. I don't advise anyone to be hands-on, even if you've got a certain background, you know, as a plumber or electrician or builder or whatever. Just pay the professionals to do it. But I did get hands-on with that one a little bit. And I just really enjoyed that project. It was great. It was over the summertime. The numbers were going crazy at the time. Do you remember the house prices in England at the time? They were just going up and up. And we're like, get right to the finish line. They're like, thought we were going to sell it for X. No, we're getting 20 grand more. I thought we were going to sell it for X. No, 25 grand more.
Good times.
It was good times. Yeah, that was my favorite. Yeah. How about you, actually? What was your favorite project?
I think Charlton Road is up there, but I also love doing Barnsley as well.
Barnsley was a cool project.
Because I love the finish where it was like an older Victorian house and it was just a dive, wasn't it? It was so bad. And Charlton Road was the same. So they're quite similar in that
They were both back to brick, weren't they?
Yeah, both back to brick renovations, but Barnsley was a massive transformation and I loved the decor and the style in there, and I think that's what I really loved about it. And I'm excited about our next project, which is similar in terms but even bigger. And I just think you can really inject the old character with modern finishes, and I that's my style. I really love it.
Yeah, I mean, you put the panelled walls and stuff in, and the roll top radiators and the Victorian tile flooring and so on, and was it the navy and gold with the brass handles in the kitchen and stuff? That was a really cool project.
Just going a little bit extra, and that was a 6-bedroom HMO, so you don't usually go to that extremes unless you're in a very dominant market where you need to stand out from the crowd, but we did spend a little bit more. But it was
broke the ceiling price again.
Exactly. We still broke the ceiling price on valuations, and it was a very lucrative project, wasn't it? It made us a lot of money. But that was really fun to do, and I think it was one of the first that we did together. So the excitement was really there, and it's this is actually happening. We're doing this professionally now. It's not just a side hustle. And that was really fun to do. And fairly hands-off as well, actually.
It was that. Well, yeah, we lived 3 hours away, didn't we? So we had a build team in place and what have you, project manager and so on.
Yeah.
You actually negotiated 10 grand off the asking price, which was a great start to any project.
Yeah, it was mid-COVID.
I mean, we're always conservative with numbers, but if you can, you're buying a place for 100 grand and you end up getting it for 90, you're going to spend 100 grand on a building, you end up paying 90. The GDV you're expecting to be 250 ends up 300. It's all just good news.
Yeah.
And I think with property, not a lot of people talk about the struggles and the hardships of property, but it's also good to talk about, the pluses and the little bonuses. And that was just a little bonus before we'd even gone through the door. Was great with 10 grand up for this project.
Yeah, it was a nice quick win out of the gate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was kind of should we just try our luck? And I think I even said to you, I'm going to negotiate the purchase price down. And you were like, really? It's so cheap.
Meant to be exchanging in 24 hours. Hang on a minute, hold my beer.
It's only 91,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I ended up getting it for 81 after a conversation. I tried to get 15k off because it was mid-COVID and the market, everyone was a bit oh, what's going to happen? But obviously it actually just went.
I think you were on the phone this house is going to be worth 70 grand tomorrow, guys.
Sorry, the numbers won't work, even though we were going to buy it anyway. But I thought, well, try our luck. I know it's with a housing association. It's not like it's going to bite somebody in the back pocket. It's just been left and nobody cares about it. So that was a nice quick win out the gate. So that's probably my favorite one, and then Charlton Road is a close second, I think, because that was a passion project of yours and it was very local to us. So You know, we had a good build team there as well, didn't we? And it wasn't
Well,
there
we
wasn't any like
used all of
huge
our
hurdles, to be honest.
no, and I think because it was on our doorstep and not up in Barnsley or Yorkshire or Middlesbrough or Blackpool or down in Weymouth or London or whatever, it was
Yeah,
on our doorstep. We utilised everyone that we knew.
yeah,
You know, these were people that I'd worked with on sites myself 10 years ago, and we just sort of pulled everyone in for that one.
yeah,
But yeah,
100%.
but going back to like the price of Barnsley as well, you don't ask, you don't get. Going back to the build team for Charlton Road, you don't ask, you don't get.
No.
I think people are so scared in property and in business in general, just to ask for things.
Yeah,
I
to
mean,
have those difficult conversations
yeah,
at times.
and just be comfortable being uncomfortable. I mean, you know, a chap that I'm going to speak to now, I won't say, but I'm going to be talking to someone. He's got a huge net worth. I think it's 1.5 billion at the moment. And I'm going to have an awkward conversation with this guy at some point. It's not going to be awkward, but it's going to be hard for me to do. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So just ask. And I think English people, like,
We're too polite.
we've traveled the world, haven't we? We're quite well traveled, and we've really noticed England's got one thing. Like, you could be walking down the street and someone bumps into you because they're looking the other way, and you will turn and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You haven't done anything wrong. They just bumped into you." But I think we all just need to learn to ask a bit more.
That's so true.
And if you want something, go and get it and just ask for it.
Yeah, it's being willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, because that's what's going to change the game, isn't it? Like, if you can't have those uncomfortable conversations, then you're not going to get those quick wins out the gate. You're not going to be able to negotiate your purchase, not only your purchase price, but your build costs. Like, we try and negotiate with everything, don't we?
Literally,
And if
we're going to
it's
Curry's, weren't we? By like 6 TVs for a 6-bed HMO.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "What's the staff discount then?" Because I'm buying 6. And they look at me, won't they?
Yes.
And you'll be like, you'll know what's coming. You're like, "Cool, I'll just leave Darren to it." And we'll generally get like £200 off.
Yeah, it's
whatever
always
it may
worth
be.
it, isn't it? That's still like a nice meal out.
There you go.
You've
That's
got
a
to
meal.
think
So
about it
that
that
night we
way.
just go for a meal out instead and just blow the 200 on some nice food.
Yeah, absolutely. We probably would have spent it anyway. So it's worth just looking at everything that you've got going on and thinking, well, even if it's not of monetary value, like, how can I make this more incentivized for me?
Yeah.
You know, is there something that we could work together on? Make it a win-win, of course, because any business transaction needs to be, but it's also being able to spot that opportunity and tap into it a little bit more.
There's a way to ask as well, isn't it? Which we've done with like NLP coaching and training and stuff. So we won't just go, "Oh, can I have such and such number, please?" It will always be, I don't know, as an example, would it be too much trouble if you give me your builder's number? Because we're programmed to say no.
Yeah.
But how we're asking that question, would it be too much trouble for you to give me that number? No. And then you automatically said, no, of course it's not. Where's my phone? Yeah, here's his number, or here's the £200 off the TVs, or here's my staff discount.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a little golden nugget for people, is how you ask things. Yeah.
100%. And then there's like if and what questions as well, isn't there? Like, if I were to offer you X amount, then what would your response be, or what would your thoughts be?
It's just
so that's
questions,
yeah, it's like testing the water, so that you're not then going in with an aggressive offer. It's really like being able to dig a bit deeper into that person's situation and what is motivating them, so you can mirror that and be a chameleon to that situation, so that you can make it a win-win for both sides that makes sense to that person you're talking to, but also it has to work for you as well, because nobody wants to feel resentful in a situation, right? This is business at the end of the day. We need to make sure that we're putting a roof over our heads at the same time. We've all got to eat. So yeah, I think there's some golden nuggets there for people to take away as well.
Especially like you just touched on, I mean, you call me a chameleon because you see me speak to people, and I'm always me, I'm always authentic, I'm just me. But that said, I can get not into character, but I can speak to certain people. I can speak to, as an example, some 17-year-old lad in his jogging suit, and immediately 10 minutes later I'm speaking to some 80-year-old high net worth individual, and then I'm speaking to a council planner, and then I'm speaking to your mum, and so on. And I think communication is something that me and you have learned how to master, maybe not master, but we're on the journey and we're forever bettering that. But communication's key with any business, and it's really helped us in property, hasn't it? And to be a chameleon and see each side of the story and whatever's going on at the time, and really get into that position as well.
Yeah, and I think it is just about being more relatable, isn't it, to the person that you are talking to. It's not necessarily about being inauthentic and saying something completely different that's out of your character. It's just like, well, how can this be relatable to that person, based on what you're hearing from them as well. Like, I think a lot of it comes down to listening and then knowing what they need as opposed to what you think they need, because that's how you're going to be able to have a really good negotiation from there.
Definitely.
So I just wanted to talk about our lessons as well. So what do you think has been the biggest lessons in property? Because a lot of people, especially on social media, will paint property as being like, you know, the holy grail, and there's no kind of complications, which, like, anything in business is always going to be two sides to the story. And of course, property, there is so many benefits too, and like, we would not be in a position that we are today without it. There's no two ways about it. There's like so many rewards from it, and it's so worth it. But what are the biggest lessons that you've taken from it?
Biggest lessons from investing in property?
It could be a project as well, or could be anything, whatever you think.
I think for me, the ceiling, like, where is the ceiling? What can you do in life? Where can you go? I mean, if you'd have asked me that question 20 years ago, I'd have been 17. What was I doing at 17? I was an apprentice plumber. I think I was on like £5 per hour, something like that. And I think for me, the biggest lesson is there's no ceiling. You can take the roof off and build another story, but another floor, but you can also do that in life. As we've gone on, the projects have got so much bigger. Like, my first ever project was a masonette, and I just painted the walls and put new flooring down and new kitchen and bathroom and stuff. And then we're doing 8,000 square foot commercial to residential redevelopments in city centres and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think for me, there's no ceiling.
Yeah.
Don't put a cap on it. Just really reach for, that's that saying, isn't it? I can't remember who said it, reach for the stars, and even if you miss, you can land on a cloud.
Yeah.
So
I know the saying. I'm just trying to think of what it is.
That's the saying. I don't know who says it though, but
yeah.
But that's so true. I think for me,
I know
reach further.
I know it's reach for the moon. If you fall, at least you'll land among the stars.
Cool. Well, that's even better than mine, because I'm reaching for the stars, and if I miss, I land on the cloud. So you're right. There you go.
Keep going.
I need to keep going and raise the roof of it. But 100% for me, that's it. Is to really just go for it. And I don't know whether you do this with your clients, but I know people I speak to and say, Darren, can I have half an hour? Can I have 5 minutes chat with this? And I say, well, what's your goal and where do you want to be? And well, I want to be a millionaire in 5 years' time. So what do you mean What, you want £1 million in the bank in 5 years? No, yeah. I'm like, well, $1 million's not going to be worth $1 million in 5 years, and the way the world's going, that's probably not going to be worth a lot anyway. So why have you set your limit or your cap at having £1 million in the bank?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your absolute dream car? Oh, you get a Veyron. Well, that's 1.1 million. So you can't even have your ultimate dream car. Set your goals totally unrealistic, like way higher. I want 100 million in the bank in 5 years' time. And then you might really, you might get halfway there.
Yeah. Because
we're only programmed to go to where we're going to go to. You want to go to A, fine, we go to A, go to B, go to B. But what's after A and after B? I think for me, the biggest lesson and gift that I've got from property and business is really reaching forward and just creating a better life as well. I know I was speaking to you about this the other day. People are always looking to cut down on their expenditure, their monthly expenditure, and save money.
This is a message that we're like, that is being fed to people. They're like, don't drink Costa coffee, like, get rid of your subscriptions. Like, if you're using all of that and that brings you joy, do not get rid of it.
No,
like, if you're
this is it.
Spending willy-nilly, then that's a different story. But like,
yes, so they say, like, reduce your monthly outgoings and save money.
Yeah.
Well, you know me oh too well. I will purposely try to increase my monthly outgoings, so I have to level up.
Yeah.
If I'm spending 10 grand a month, now I've got to earn 20 grand a month. I'm spending 20 grand a month, I've got to earn 30 grand a month. And I don't save anything. Like, genuinely, there's a couple of grand in my bank at any one time. My money's out earning more money. You give me £1, I give you back 2. I want the money out earning money. So that mindset of save all your money, pay your mortgage off, reduce your monthly outgoings, I think it's just wrong. Now, that might not work for everybody, but for me, if I push my monthly outgoings more, something will happen. I've got the money mindset, I've got an abundance mindset, I want everything and I want it all now and I'm going to go and get it. But just don't limit yourself and don't put that ceiling too low.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think one of my lessons is probably more on a technical level, is like one of the projects that we did initially, which was the commercial to residential. And that like came, I think it was more of a timing thing really, wasn't it? Because of COVID. Like we bought the building, COVID happened, we had it on a bridge, then we went and had builders in that couldn't start for months, and it was like everything that
COVID
could
was
have
messy.
could have gone wrong did go wrong. But my God, so many valuable lessons. Like, and we finished that project, it was beautiful at the end, wasn't it?
It was amazing. It makes the guy that bought it, the investor that ended up buying it, makes him like £5,000 a month.
Yeah, damn.
Well,
but
that's what we do though. We do these projects and we help others as well.
No,
his financial freedom figure was £5,000 a month.
Yeah, and we still made money, so it's not the end of the world.
And he's got on the first one.
Yeah, but like those lessons that we learned with that project, oh my God, like we have taken that forward into further commercial to residentials, and it's like we know everything that needs to go on here. So it's like we've already crossed all of those hurdles off before it even becomes an issue, and that saves time, that saves money, that increases your margin twofold, like tenfold, not twofold. And not only with Common to Resis, but other projects as well. So like that for me was probably because I didn't have as much experience with buildings and just the building trade in general, that was a massive learning curve of like managing a big project, because even we had a project manager, but still lots of things that we needed to do ourselves and finish up and stuff like that. So I had a love-hate relationship with that place, I think, because it was difficult but actually gave me so much value. And like, yeah, I've taken that away, and I'm sure you have as well. And it's just sometimes you'll give what's the saying, like you get given what you need at the time, something like that. And I think that's definitely true, because if we didn't have that, we probably wouldn't have been so successful in other areas as well. So that was probably my biggest lesson.
And just think, if someone come to you now and said, I'm going to do an 8,000 square foot commercial to residential redevelopment, and turn it into 6 apartments and 2 shops right in the city centre, on a street that's not a conservation area but a quality corridor, you'd be like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, like I know what to do, that's all good, let's go. So like some of my ladies in my Fempowered Property Academy, that is where they're going to. They're doing the BRRs and then they want to get to doing commercial to residential, and it's like, cool, like I'm 100% happy to guide you through that, because I've done it once, I've learned all the lessons, but I've also done it again and again and again afterwards and had really successful projects. So I'm more than happy to guide people through that now. So if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be doing that either.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was the biggest lesson for me.
Cool.
So what is next for you and for us? What are you thinking in the future?
Well, what is next? That's a good question. I've got a pretty big list of things that I want to do and goals that I want to achieve. Got some real strong passion projects I want to get to. We've always been taught to fill our own cup, because you can't pour from an empty cup. But at some point, I really want to start to give back and do some passion projects. I think larger projects, like we used to do like the mini mows as an example, which is a mini HMO, like 4 bedrooms, 3 to 4 bedrooms, and now we're just about to do a 10-bed all ensuite HMO. So I think I'm always looking for the next bigger project to better myself.
Well, we just done a 9-bed.
We did just do a 9-bed,
so
yeah.
Like one more bedroom.
So maybe 11, the one after 11. But yeah, I think the projects that I want to do next, definitely bigger.
Yeah.
And like I say to a lot of the guys that I work with, I want to reach higher and reach for the stars, and do some bigger things. So yeah, I don't want to say too much, but I've got some big projects lined up with some very influential people and some people with a lot of money behind them, which will obviously help speed the process up.
Yeah.
And I want to.
It's a win-win, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And one thing I'm really keen to look into is setting up a boutique spa hotel. one that we can enjoy, one that we monetize and
somewhere.
profit from, and friends and family can really enjoy, and we can have big Christmases there and stuff. And then from there, I'm already thinking forward and looking at a chain of these as well. So I've got some big projects lined up. The imminent, like immediate projects I've got, this big HMO and a few other flips. As you know, I always like to have a little flip on the go in the background. I don't know why. I think I just always will do. They're just great for earning, a lump sum of cash. So yeah, project wise, there's a lot going on.
So we've got a busy time, basically.
We've got a busy time ahead. There's no rest for the wicked.
No.
But when we slow down and stop, it's like a week later, we're like, right, what can we do? Yeah.
And like, that's what I was saying earlier about sometimes pivoting and letting go of some parts of your business, because that transformation can't happen. There's no space for it to move into unless you create that space. We know that we're going to be busy and up leveling that area of our business, so it makes sense to think about the future vision, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I've jokingly said to you, but not jokingly, I've always had like a millionaire's mindset, and to be self-made millionaires is great. 110%, my goal is to be a billionaire, and then how many people can I help, and how many lives can I change if I was a billionaire? Sorry, when I'm a billionaire. Again, it's just the mindset thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And one of the big passion projects I want to do in India and set up a school, and we traveled India years ago now, actually. 7 years ago.
Yeah, they just roll by.
They did just roll by.
I don't know when it was now. Yeah, probably about seven or eight.
Yeah, and it's the second we got there, we saw so many homeless children.
Yeah, really
abandoned children even, and we just wanted to scoop them all up, and we would if we could have. So therefore, if we could have, I need to be at the point where I can. So yeah, that orphanage is a massive passion project for me, and I've got to set the bar high for that, because that's going to take some doing, but it's on the vision board even.
Yeah, and well, that's it, isn't it? There's only so much money can give you. Like, it is about filling your own cup up and having fun in the process. Like, a lot of the things that we are thinking about doing, even, if we move countries again, who knows? Like, we have these big visions, but it's also fun. It's like, well, where can we have the next bit of fun with, or where?
Don't forget, we're going to Vegas in like 4 months' time. So
yeah, so we're
then LA, then Scottsdale.
We're mindful of the US market as well. So like, yeah, it just comes down to that, doesn't it? Like, the sky is no limit, and that you can have so many big visions and just roll with it and just have fun. So that's what it's all about. But you can also, once you've done that and you've filled your cup up, like, you're going to get to a point where it's like, I need to help now, I need to give back. And that's where your next motivation is going to come from, because like, that money is just not going to fulfill you, because you're going to have everything that you want and you've needed. And like, the next big push is giving back to others, because if you're not helping them and you're not pushing your own business forward, then like, those people are not going to be helped. And that's the big vision, isn't it?
Well, you look at all philanthropists and people that give a lot to charity and startup funds and so on, they've done well in whatever business or sector they've mastered. And they'll all go to the same thing. They all want to give back, and the more I seem to give, the more I seem to get back. And I think that's probably true for everyone. But you've got a passion project though. Like, you've always said to me, you want to do some sort of wellness retreat with yoga and healthy eating, and helping people with their mindset and so on, and their body and their food and stuff. So is that a project that you want to put out there at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I am definitely thinking about doing a retreat for property ladies, but even just going past that, it's maybe I could create a wellness center that's involved with our hotel chain and stuff like that when it gets to that point. So it's just having that bigger vision, isn't it? Like, yeah, who knows what's around the corner? Make
it happen. Go and get it.
And I think right now, like, my giving back is helping my ladies in my property academy, because I know how much that is going to change their lives. So of course I'm being paid for it. Nobody can have an exchange value without that monetary exchange there. But like, they are still changing their lives at the same time. So that's my injection of it right now, which feels really, really good. And I love to do it.
You do love to do it.
Yeah.
And anyone listening, you really do love to do it. And I'm so proud of you for what you've done with these ladies. You've worked with so many people now, and to see some of the results they're getting. I like show you someone on Facebook when I'm look at this like massive HMO, whatever that someone's done. You're like, get down, that's my client. Oh, okay, cool. Or whatever it may be. Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
No, that's good.
Amazing.
Passion projects are great. I think we should all maybe have a drive for that rather than just money.
Yeah, because that doesn't make you happy. Like,
well, even
if
like
you do both, then that's like the perfect combination, isn't it?
But yeah, exactly. I mean, like me with cars, I've got a massive passion for cars, hence having that sports car dealership. But you give me 100 grand, I'll buy a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
You give me 200 grand, I'll buy a 200 grand car.
Yeah.
There's always another one on, isn't there? So where does it get to the point like buying all this stuff is not fulfilling, is not making me whole?
No.
And I think when we all realize that, that's when we can really grow.
Mm-hmm.
So like us to be here, I mean, I wish you guys could see this view that we've got every single morning. But for me, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
And
it's like, oh.
And I would pick being here any day over being in London with several billionaire investors that want to do this and so on and so on. Here to have my mindset and clarity, and I can move forward and clearly project my ideas and make them happen and so on.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
I think environment's really powerful, isn't it? Even, you know, if you're not living in a place like this where you're surrounded by nature and all of those things, like actually, like, where can you make those changes in your environment? Can you start to get a positive environment around even just driving to your school run or whatever, and putting a podcast on, getting you into a different headspace where it's like, actually, these things are possible, because that's where it's all going to come from. Like, you might not be able to go and get a villa in the mountains of Mallorca right now, and that's not something that you can implement. So
you might not even want that.
No, you might not.
But
you might want something different.
For whatever environment that suits that person.
Yeah.
Like if you hang around with 5 broke people, you'll be the sick. If you hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be the sick, and so on.
Definitely. So just going back then on like all of the training stuff that we've done, how important do you think that training or mentoring that we had was?
The most important out of everything. And that's helped me not just with knowledge, general knowledge of property. We've worked with people as well with mindset and NLP. And who was that guy that was on stage? Alan, I can never say his Kleinhans.
Yeah, he's really powerful.
Do you remember when he stood up and he done that speech, and it was just amazing? So I think when you get into the mindset of self-development can and will help me, then you just grow exponentially. As you say, it's just constant. So mentoring, training, education. Why did we get to 16 and finish school and be like, that's all we needed to know? We don't need to know anything else. We're going to go into this office job and start off at 15 grand here, that in 2 years time is going to be 20 grand, and in 5 years I'm going to make manager and 40 grand without any other training or further development. I literally don't want to stop learning until the day I die. When
it's something you enjoy, it just becomes fun. So you actually want to do it, as opposed to the stuff they teach you in school.
We say this every, like, I wish we had our sponge brains now than like we did as a kid, when you don't want to learn. You're like, I want to go home, I don't want to go to school, or whatever it may be.
Yeah. But the thing is, what they teach us, it serves our societal system.
Yeah.
That like, if you're okay being at that, then that's fine. But like, if you know that there's something more out there, then like, you do need to get that further education. You need to start to tap into your strengths. You need to really build that resilient mindset, because it's going to be hard to navigate away from that initially. It absolutely is. But like, the rewards are so beneficial. Sorry, what are you saying?
No, I was just touching on that. That's how important further education and mentoring and coaching is. Because at school,
want a coach because I need it.
Yeah,
time.
Exactly. I mean, at school, what do you really learn? I'm not saying for any children listening, don't go to school, but you're going to learn what the other kids are doing and talking about. Are you going to learn about money? We had business studies at school, but it was so basic. And
most of the time they're taught by people who don't even have a business or never had a business. Like, how can you teach this?
It's such limiting beliefs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is why I do a thing with my daughter. So summer holiday starts when, like 9 days.
Yeah, it's quite long here.
And so me and Sienna, we've started something called real life Mondays. We talk about money, investing, just how to be genuine, reading people, speaking to people, communicating, building relationships, and so on. And I think they're things that we really need to learn, and we don't learn them at school. Like, I didn't do very well at school. I was a college dropout. So I started college at 16 or whatever it was, and couldn't do it, and was constantly getting told off, and you need to catch up with this, and I dropped out. But it didn't resonate with me, and the things I was learning was just like textbook boring stuff.
Yeah, same.
And a lot of schooling is like that. I think we need a massive shift in schooling, and we need to teach children how to grow their own fruit and veg, how to go and get fresh water if you needed it, how to actually earn money and manage people and create businesses and be self-sufficient and be healthy and look after your body and communicate well.
That's what we're losing now, is communication, because of the digital era as well. Like, so many kids have got anxiety and depression and stuff like that because of the messages that are being sent out there, but we're not really reinforcing that internal resilience within them and being able to openly communicate, because it's all done via messaging and stuff like that now. I think it was bad enough with us when we were growing up, but like, God knows what it's like now.
It's getting scary now, isn't it? I mean, you take an iPad away from a random kid and they just have screaming fits on the floor.
Yeah, you can notice the change in the behaviour.
Talk to me, what's going on? They just can't, can they? So yeah, we definitely limit screen time for Sienna, don't we? We were actually out with some friends the other day, and they've got 2 kids, and they are lovely kids. They generally are. And these 2 parents are incredibly amazing parents. They really are. But one of the little girls was just having an off day, and the mum took the iPad away and said, "Come on, we're at the dinner table now." Sienna won't, pick up her iPad if she knows we're having a meal, because it's time to sit down with the family. Cry,
but she knows that it's not an option.
She did try, we'll just give her the look. But yeah, so this mum took the iPad away, and this kid just had a massive meltdown. It's like, it's my iPad, I want my iPad, I want my iPad. And they're becoming so addicted to phones, iPads, TV programs, YouTube Kids, whatever it may be. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand it's the way of the world now, but we still need to go back to the original point, is to communicate and build relationships. I genuinely worry, like, some of these kids now in like 15 years time, stick them in a meeting with 20 people in front of them to converse and work out what's going on with this project or how to structure that business idea. I don't know what they're going to do.
No,
they'll probably just ask AI. They'll be like, hang on a minute, AI, create this presentation for us. And then they'll turn back and do it. And we'd be like, oh, damn it, they've done that in 30 seconds.
Like, oh, well, the robot's doing it now, so it's fine.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know.
Maybe that's where more mentoring and coaching comes in, though. Maybe like it will be more integrated in the future.
I think
because now it's more of a choice. But at the end of the day, if you pay attention, don't you? Because we've invested a lot of money into that sector, and not only in property training, but project management courses, even mentoring on mindset.
Yoga instructors coming over.
Even that.
Personal trainers.
It adds different layers and levels to everything in your own experience. So it's definitely something that I think was so worth, and is all like, everything that we've invested in has given us a much higher return on our investment,
and it always does. It always will do.
It's like a massive shift in everything, in your mindset, and like being able to actually implement stuff, having that next layer of support there.
It's the toolbox, isn't it? Like, you could give the ladies and girls that you work with a fishing rod, and they're like, what am I going to do with that? Then you can give them a fish and go, all right, you don't know how to fish, here's a fish. Or you can teach them how to fish, and then they can fish forever. And they can then teach other people, and we can just better the world and our immediate environment quite swiftly and quickly.
That's the bigger vision of it all,
having the toolbox and being able to know how to use the toolbox, which is key.
100%. And like, if you are empowered yourself and you have financial stability, that's only going to ripple. There's a ripple effect between your family, between your friends. Like, a lot of people in my academy, they're now helping their families, and they're helping them invest their money. And like, to me, that is music to my ears, because I can see that it's having a bigger, wider impact, and that's what it's all about.
And they're helping the people closest to them. And don't forget, the people that are most critical of you will be the closest to you. They will be your immediate 5 friends and your immediate family. So if you can if you see someone's, your father's 60 years old and he's retiring at 67, he's still in the same job on 30 grand a year, and he's pretty much got his house paid off. It's like mortgage paid off, which is such a common thing that me and Ella see.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how much is your house worth? And they're like, well, it's probably about 650 now, and I've got about 150 on the mortgage. Like,
We're
so
like,
you sat on £500,000. Why don't you make that £500,000? They're like, because I want to pay my mortgage off. And then we always said to me, like, why? And they're like, because I do, because that's what I've been told to. I've got to pay my mortgage off.
And yet they hate their job, and they're like just stuck in a position where it's not serving them whatsoever, and they're sat in a gold mine, which, like, to replace their income, it wouldn't take that much to make that grow, because they
can invest that in a basic 10% mutual fund and get 50k a year, which is more than their job. And it's like, oh, come on, seriously.
Think about it. Think outside the box.
We've been told to pay our mortgage off.
Yeah, but we are, to a degree, societally conditioned to think like that, and it is being able to step away from it and having that awareness to be like, actually, is this serving me? Is it aligned with where I want to get to? And what options are out there available to me? Because I can bet you bottom dollar, if you put your awareness there, like, things will just start to grow from that idea.
Well, that goes straight back to mindset again, which is obviously so important, because that person with that £500,000 equity wants to pay the house off, because then they own their house. But at some point, you know, they're going to die. And that's such a big lesson when you can get your head around, I could die tomorrow, I could die in 50 days, I could die in 50 weeks, 50 years. We're all here temporarily. And whatever we've got, my phone, this laptop, this villa, the cars, whatever, it's all temporary. We're kind of renting all of it.
Yeah.
So
just materials.
Exactly. I think the mindset of, I have to pay my mortgage off, whether that's £100,000 house or £1 million house, it's just silly.
Yeah.
I mean, we rent this place, we don't own this place.
No. And then I think, unless you're comfortable, like, if you have income streams coming in and you've got a monthly income that you're like, yep, I'm good, I'm living off this, and you want to buy your own house because you've got residual money in the bank and you don't have many aspirations to grow, then absolutely go and knock yourself out. But when you're struggling and you do not like what you're doing and you need some more passive income streams, then, like, you just absolutely need to do something about that.
But you don't know what you don't know.
No.
So some people we speak to, like, as that example with large equities,
their mind is blown.
They're just like, what, are you serious? I can refinance. I want to sell the house or whatever it may be, or pay it off or whatever. I can refinance. I can keep the house. I can actually stay living in it and have £250,000 in my back pocket that you guys, as an example, are going to give us 15% on with full security via a first charge, and I earn X amount per month. And we're like, yeah. And they're just looking at you sometimes like, I don't get it. How can that be possible? But yeah, it is very, very possible, isn't it? But it does all come down to mindset. You don't know what you don't know.
No, 100%.
So yeah, that was quite a long one, actually.
Yeah, it was, isn't it?
But that's how important education is.
We just keep
the most important. Would you want an uneducated doctor doing surgery on you? Would you want an uneducated dentist doing an implant on your teeth?
No.
Would you want an uneducated accountant filing your tax return? Of course, it's all about education. And when someone does whatever they do, whatever field that may be, whether it's a footballer that's getting, a footballer will have several coaches. You're the best footballer in the world. It's like, he's still got several coaches, and so on and so on, because they're really progressing in that field.
100%.
And that's the importance of education, to progress in that area of expertise that you've chosen, which could be anything. It doesn't need to be property. It could be anything.
No.
If you work with me and Ella, mindset's such a big thing, and the abundance mindset and so on. I
always say, like, I can give you the strategy, and that is super important. Of course it is. You need to know the nuts and bolts of how to get things off the ground, the things to learn from, like all of the mistakes that we made initially, like that is all there so that you don't make those mistakes, of course. But if you have something in your mindset that is stopping you from actually implementing something, to take the knowledge that you now have from this strategy and to implement it, like, then you aren't going to be able to, because there's something there. So we need to also make sure that we're covering that base as well, to get rid of any limiting beliefs, make sure you're addressing the things that are coming up on a subconscious level, because we learn all of those things from, I think it's the 0 to 7, you learn most of your subconscious belief system.
0 to 7,
between
yeah.
that time. You're never going to like probably remember where things have come from, but it's building that awareness of that pattern of where it's replaying out in your life so that you can make those changes. So it has to be like a twofold approach, doesn't it? It's not just like, here's property, off you go, like go and implement, because you need to have that level of awareness of, if anything comes up for you, that you're not taking that action. Like, where is that coming from? I think that's so important. Like, that's why I have my own coach all the time, because I need that extra layer of accountability and a soundboard as well, to be like, this is what's going on, like this is where I want to get to, but this come up this week, and it's like, oh, like that's not what actually happened, the technicals thing of life that's got in the way. It's because I'm thinking about this thing, you know, and like having that awareness, and sometimes just speaking it out loud really goes so far, because you can actually hear yourself saying it, and it just assembles and it starts to create this image in your mind of like, oh, actually, like that is why I'm putting blocks in my way, and that I'm aware of it now, so now I need to step in and take that action to bypass it. So yeah,
definitely,
that's why I love having a coach myself. So I think we should probably finish up there, Darren, don't you? Because we have been talking.
Yeah, I mean, what do they say? It's like the attention span, because like every TED talk, if you ever watch any TED talks, they're like 18 minutes, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so how much have we done?
Probably like an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. So, well, enjoy the first 18 minutes and then just switch off after that when you guys are bored.
If you got this far, congratulations.
Well done. You've got a good attention span.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And listeners, if you want to find us on Instagram, we do offer projects out to investors and work with you on a fixed term basis. If you are interested in that, then you can contact us. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, just reach out to us and we can go from there.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.